his neck. You already know nigga Rex in effect. Keep it hot but don't make a mess. You already know police signing they checks. Young Squeeze man toting the Rex. You wanna see a face up in the press? Pussy pop.
Squeeze Gang. Woof. And what that was. Squeeze Gang, you already know the vibes, man. Swamp Stories. Listen, I think I did one of them on what's that dude name? Jay Prince, Houston. So there's something different. So I ain't gonna be talking that much. I'm gonna be talking. You know I'm gonna talk my shit. But I'm more or less gonna be watching because I just saw this on my home feed and I'm like, Denver's crazy? So nah, let me see, like, cause I'm on FanDuel right now and Denver's getting me tight. I need this nigga Jokic to get 22, bro. He got 15. It's the fourth quarter. Yeah, they losing. So, don't niggas fuck that money up for me. Let's get into this, though.
2022, I've been making some improvements to the channel. One of those was improving my editing skills, but also trying to make the episodes as professional as I can. But now I have another one. Every Monday, I'm gonna be dropping shorter episodes. This will include individual events, biographies, mini rivalries, and so much more. Trust me, I've got some bangers on the way. So let's get into it. Denver, Colorado. Not a city you would ever expect to end up on Swamp Stories. Personally, when I think of Denver, well, I'm not sure that's ever happened. But if I did think of Denver, the streets would be the last thing that come to mind. First, of course, would be Subarus, skiers, and Starbucks drinkers. But what if I told you that Denver is 4 times more dangerous than New York City? 2 times more dangerous than...
That nigga said 4 times more dangerous than New York City? Cap.
San Francisco, and slightly more dangerous than the city of LA. In this episode, you'll encounter some of the most bold decisions I've ever covered. Denver is no joke, and it will all make sense on this episode of Swamp Stories. It's 1980 in Watts, California, right in the midst of the worst period in Los Angeles history. Every day is chaotic and the street life is consuming hundreds of teens on...
The 80s in Cali was nutty. The crack era just started. Gang banging is going crazy. Ooh-wee. If you grew up in the 80s, 70s, and early 90s, and you from California, you are a OG if you still alive. And you ain't never do no telling shit, though.
Daily basis. All of this led many families down a path of reconsideration. Is it time to leave this beautiful city to escape the environment? Well, 3 families from Watts finally had enough and decided to pack their bags. Las Vegas, Seattle, Bakersfield, or San Bernardino. These are the cities that most families had moved to. But for these 3, they wanted to get much farther away. So
so they had to be cool, like, them 3 families, because they went to Denver together, all 3 of them. I thought that was, like, just one family that went to Denver, so all 3 of them went to Denver, because before I started this shit, I watched, like, the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because I was like, let me see if this shit is worth reacting to, but I just said I'm going to do it anyway.
They chose Denver, Colorado. They knew that this would be much different than Watts, but that's what they were looking for. However, due to their financial situation, they moved to the cheapest neighborhood. That would be Northeast Denver, specifically the area around 33rd and Fillmore. When they got there, they realized that it resembled South Central. The neighborhood was poor and run down, but the upside is that it didn't have gangs. This instantly made it a much better environment than what they had come from. They no longer had to look over their shoulder or worry about being pressed. So for the time being, things were calm, but sadly, that wouldn't last long. Each family had teenage boys of the same age. Michael Asbury, also known as Sicko Mike, Philip Jefferson, and Albert Jones, all of whom had spent their formative years in the wild streets of Watts. So
was they gangbanging before they left, or was they just... I don't know. They got
to Denver, they were instantly seen as top dogs. They enrolled at Manual High School, just a few minutes from where they lived. This school was no walk in the park. In fact, it was the worst school in the whole city. Regardless, the 3 teens began running the hallways. And what they noticed early on is that everyone respected them. Sicko Mike saw a golden opportunity.
Sicko Mike. Sicko Mike, like a fucking turtle. Like a fucking Ninja Turtle.
He was wild, fierce, and loved to assert his dominance. All he needed was a platform, so he met up with his two friends on 30th and Gilpin. He then pitched them on the idea of starting the Rolling 30s Crips. Both of his friends were ecstatic, and the plan...
This nigga started it? He started it, so he got his sanction from Cali? Because he is from Cali. I know he had to talk to somebody about that. I know he couldn't just say, hey, I'm starting this. And this is correct. He had to get sanctioned, man. Come on, man. We need some more facts on this shit, bro.
was ready to go, so the three teens began recruiting in the hallways of Manual High School. Membership grew quickly, and this was officially Denver's first LA-style gang. This lonely position would only last for a year and a half. In 1986, another LA section formed in northeast Denver. Just across Colorado Boulevard, Inglewood's Crenshaw Mafia started a section. They would be centered in what's known as the Park Hill neighborhood. Long story short,
so some more niggas from Cali moved out there and started they shit up. Oh, this shit about to get ugly. I'm telling y'all, this shit about to get ugly.
The Crenshaw Mafia got involved in the market of Snow White, and this did not make the Rolling 30s happy. They wanted to be the only factor in Denver, and this threat needed to be eliminated. Philip Jefferson would make the first move. On June 12, 1986, Philip would find two Crenshaw Mafia members on a Park Hill corner. Henry Yeats and Daniel Ramirez just casually hanging out on the corner. Philip would hop out of his car.
Fool. Philip pulled up and smoked both of them niggas. Damn.
According to Denver News, this was the very first tragedy within the beef. And just a few days later, Philip Jefferson would be arrested. Given that this was a major incident, many people expected a harsh sentence, 25 years at the minimum. However, Denver has always been known for a lenient system. Somehow the judge allowed him to plea down to just 6 years. And
that nigga got 6 years for a double homie? Yo, nigga need to move to Denver. Fuck, man. And look, I'm really betting on FanDuel with Denver. These niggas is losing. It's crazy, right? Y'all see that? Yeah. Yeah, man, them niggas fucking my money up on FanDuel, y'all. But nah, yeah, yo. What? 6 years for the double homie? Never. New York, them niggas would have gave you triple life.
Definitely sent a message to all of the Rolling 30s. So after this incident, things would get really bad in northeast Denver. In fact, it kicked off 2 decades of Rolling 30s dominance. And here's how they did it. The Rolling 30s spawned into 3 different sections. The Trey Crips on 33rd and Fillmore, the Trey Deuce Crips on 32nd, and the Trey 7 Crips on 37th. Together, this was known as the Triple Trey Alliance. On the other side, you had Crenshaw Mafia, Deuce 7, and East Side 13. All of these resided in the Park Hill neighborhood. Well, after losing 2 of their members, they all wanted revenge. Philip Jefferson was locked up, so Sicko Mike was target number 2. They were relentless to Sicko Mike, but it never went to plan. Between 1986 and 1995, they fired at him 13 times, but
nigga said they fired at him 13 times. They was on his ass, but that ain't that much though. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's not that much times. Like,
never once did they connect. For whatever reasons,
nigga said them niggas was Ben Simmons with the Glock. Can't shoot. Fuck is you talking about? Niggas Ben Simmons with the Glock.
Mike was untouchable to the streets and also to the system. In fact, he was arrested 21 times but never once did a day in prison. This only led him to being more bold. No one in Denver could tell him anything, not even a police officer. September 5th, 1995. While driving down MLK Boulevard, Sicko Mike gets pulled over by Denver police. Officer Paul Baca gets out of his car to talk to Mike, but Mike is not having it. So Mike jumps out of his car and pummels Officer Baca. He then gathers his saliva and...
What?
This was Sicko Mike's 22nd arrest in Denver, and this time he would be prosecuted. The district attorney was able to get Mike to take a 6-year plea, but before the official...
That nigga got 6 years for spit on the cop. But his homie got motherfucking 6 years for a double homicide? Yeah, Denver ass backwards. I'm sorry, y'all. I need to move there. Facts. Oh shit, Denver just took the lead. Oh shit.
Sentencing, an organization would come to Sicko Mike's defense. The Los Angeles-based American program heard about the case and sent out an attorney. Instead of a 6-year sentence, the attorney asked for a conditional release. Sicko Mike has to move to Compton or South Central, and he cannot return to the state of Colorado. Here was...
Fool. Them niggas banned him from Colorado for that? That's tweak.
The idea. The attorney told the judge that Sicko Mike wouldn't be able to act the way he does in Denver in the streets of LA. This is what he said. The members in LA are 10 times worse, and if he tries to be in the streets, he won't last long. Essentially, the attorney argued Sicko Mike will have no choice but to turn his life around. On top of this, he claimed that the Denver community would be in support. Well, at the end, the judge decided to sentence him instead. He feared that if he did this, in return, the city of LA would send their members to Colorado. So Sicko Mike sat down for 6 years. And that takes us to the new millennium. By the year 2000, Denver was seeing crime like never before. Homicide rates higher than many big cities across the country, despite having not that many members. That's because Denver was simply not equipped to handle this issue. The judges were too lenient on giving second and third chances for things that should have been handled right away. And because of this, Denver's criminals were bolder than anywhere around the country.
Nah, that's a fact though, nigga. They only giving niggas 6 years and... Bro, if they giving niggas 10 and down for murders, bro, you know what the fuck will be going on in New York, bro? Do you understand what will be happening out here, bro? They are roofing niggas for bodies out here, bro. You catch a body, nigga, it's a 85% chance your ass might not see the streets ever again. You might die in that bitch. Facts. 85% chance. You catch a body in New York, nigga, you are not getting out. It's tough, bro. Niggas get 25 to life, bro, and do 38 years in jail, bro, and be coming home twisted. Feel me? Coming home ready to go back. Scared to go home. Nigga, I was in jail with niggas that had so much time in, bro. They made they board. Them niggas ain't want to leave. They like, nigga, I don't want to leave this shit. I don't know what I'm going to do out there. I never seen a cell phone. Like, shit like that, bro. Them niggas in Denver getting 6 years for double homies, bro. I know niggas that got life for robberies.
Sadly, the Rolling 30s would take this to another level. That takes us to New Year's Eve 2007. The Denver Broncos have just completed their final game of the season. The team had a subpar 7-9 record, but there's a lot of hope in the organization. That's because of a rookie who's emerging as a superstar. This would be Brandon Marshall, a talented wide receiver drafted in the 4th round. The main reason he fell so low was legal and character issues that teams wanted to avoid. Regardless, he kept his act together and balled out his rookie season. So in order to celebrate a year of hard work, Brandon and 2 teammates decide to go out in downtown Denver. That would be 3rd-year running back Darren Williams and 5th-year wide receiver Javon Walker. Coincidentally, Denver Nuggets star Kenyon Martin is throwing a birthday party downtown as well. So the 3 Broncos head downtown around 11 o'clock. The Broncos arrive outside the club, and there, a Rolling 30s member named Willie Clark is arguing with the bouncer. The bouncer won't let him in the club, so Willie gets in his face and starts arguing. Meanwhile, Brandon Marshall and the Broncos skip the line and head right in. While he's walking in, Brandon Marshall hears his name being uttered, so he turns around and Willie Clark gets in his face. The 2 exchange words and Brandon Marshall leaves it alone. About an hour later, Willie Clark returns to the club with his Rolling 30s associates. This time, they get inside and look for the Broncos players. They locate Darren Williams and Brandon Marshall's cousin, and according to witnesses, Brandon's cousin sprays champagne all over Willie Clark. This turns into a verbal altercation, the Rolling 30s versus the Denver Broncos. Everyone heads outside. This is when Brandon Marshall and Willie Clark get into another heated altercation. Willie Clark reaches down to his waistband, prompting Brandon Marshall to say, "You ain't got nothing on you." For the time being, he was correct, but he also knew that this could change. So Brandon Marshall decides to head home early. Meanwhile, his teammates remain at the club. 20 minutes later, the rest of the Broncos hop in a stretch limousine. The limo heads up Spear Boulevard, but that's when the unexpected occurs. The Rolling 30s have been following them the whole time, so they pull beside the limo at a red light.
Oh, what? I never knew that story. Beast. That's crazy. Brandon Marshall. That's crazy. That's bugged out, y'all. Brandon Marshall got up out of there and left his teammates, bro. Niggas aired the limo. Should be real, my niggas. Damn, that's crazy. Damn, that nigga died of gun violence. Crazy. Who would have knew, right? That's crazy.
The story made national news, and Denver's district attorney wanted to make things right. However, early on there were no leads on the case. Instead, they conducted raids on the whole Rolling 30s. On February 26, 2007, 49 Rolling 30s were arrested in Denver. What they discovered is that the Rolling 30s were into some serious business. Inside one of the houses, they found $1.5 million in cash. This ultimately sent away a large portion of the Rolling 30s. Unfortunately, though, Willie Clark was not included in this. And because of that, the indictment did nothing to bring peace to the Broncos players. The Darren Williams passing devastated the Denver Broncos, and none more than Brandon Marshall. He admitted that he felt somewhat guilty knowing that he had escalated the situation. He even told the media that he thinks about it every night. Honestly, you have to feel horrible.
Yeah, that shit probably fucked him up. But, I'm not gonna say he's not a street nigga, but, he on the right path, nigga. And then you beefing, you in the club beefing. And then one of your homies die, bro. That shit is nutty. That shit definitely will fuck with you. Because you left. You left him.
Yes, he did escalate the argument, but he is in no way responsible for another man's actions. Regardless, the guilt can eat you alive, and the only thing you can do is to make things right. All he wanted was justice, and a year and a half of uncertainty was difficult. During this period, he sort of had a rough go at things, and it all came out in early 2008 when he was pulled over for DUI. During the stop, he raged at Denver police for not attempting to solve the case that claimed his teammate's life. He also screamed how much he hates the city of Denver and how he can't wait to leave. Not too long after, Javon Walker had a similar incident in Las Vegas. The guys were struggling, and it was obvious that they needed their justice. Thankfully, it would eventually come in October of 2008. Willie Clark was officially arrested for the incident on New Year's Eve. During the trial, Brandon Marshall and several teammates took the witness stand against Willie Clark.
Oh, Brandon Marshall read it? I never knew that. Yo, and I watch football, bro. Man, I remember when he died, but I didn't know it was because of this, though. Like, I was young. I remember when he died. I just didn't remember what. That's crazy. Brandon Marshall's a rat. Fuck him. They better gave him 6 years for that shit. Yeah. They get that other nigga 6 years. I hope he got 6. Hopefully Frankie out. Free Frankie, nigga.
Him a life sentence.
What? Oh yeah, damn. They gave him that. Ooh wee. They gave him that. Ooh wee. They gave him that. Ooh wee.
Peace to everyone around the situation. It's 2008 in Denver, Colorado, and this is what you came here for. The Rolling 30s have dominated Northeast Denver for the past 2 decades. They were bold against NFL players, police, and definitely their rivals in Northeast Denver. And after the major 2007 takedown, Park Hill took full advantage. So let's get into it. If you remember, Sicko Mike was sentenced to 6 years. After his release, he got a job and secured an apartment. However, the rival Park Hill still held a grudge against him. May 15th, 2008, 5 a.m. Sicko Mike gets up early to go to work. As he leaves his door, a man is right there waiting for him. This incident was a big deal to the Rolling 30s. Sicko Mike was the equivalent to Raymond Washington in LA. Forever he was seen as untouchable, and the fact that they did this was unheard of. Right off the bat they assumed that it was Park Hill who did it. So the Rolling 30s decided to get revenge in a crazy way. May 18th, 2008. 4 Rolling 30s members drive out to...
Damn, so they killed the big homie. And he came home trying to get his life together. Denver lost, y'all. Them bum-ass niggas. 116-115. Dallas win.
Trey Hunted, Baby Who Ride, Lil Queese, and Lil Mario. They pull up to a known hangout spot, the Holly Square Shopping Center. This is where the Crenshaw Mafia hangs out on late nights. But due to the recent events, they stayed inside on this particular night. When they noticed that nobody was outside, the Rolling 30s got frustrated. So they look around the plaza and think about a plan B. Somehow they decide that arson is the best plan. They drive to the nearest gas station and buy drinks, gas, and light.
Nah, that's crazy. Them niggas, nah, that's bugged out, yo. Cause if you ever been really outside in the field, nigga, and you looking for somebody, bro, that shit get frustrating. You be outside looking for a motherfucker just to fight, just can't find them. So it's just frustrating. You be like, fuck.
Terrible combo. So they drive back to Holly Square and throw their concoctions all over the roofs. The entire block is in flames. This includes a daycare, a barbershop, and a grocery store.
Damn. Niggas fucking up the community.
The Rolling 30s hop in their car and run away. 10 minutes later, the fire department arrives. By the time they get there, the entire structure is gone. Everything burned to the ground, over $10 million in damages. Initially, the fire department classified it as an electrical malfunction, but later into the investigation, they found out that it was an act of arson. Here was the big question: who in the world would burn down a shopping center? Well, after a months-long investigation, police found that 8 people were responsible. By 2010, 7 of the members went to prison for over 9 years. The one member who was not sentenced was a young lady named Katsina Roybal. Instead of prison, they put her on a 5-year probation. Part of the conditions were that she could only be at home or at work, nothing else. Realistically, this made her a target for revenge. Park Hill knew her only 2 whereabouts. Unfortunately, they would take advantage of this opportunity. July 12, 2010. It's a steaming hot summer day and it's only right to get some sunlight. So Katsina sits out on her porch to enjoy the weather. But that's when a car stops in front of her house. This story is sad all around. So much unnecessary drama for no reason. Well, if you guys thought that
I mean, that shit was a little tough. It was a little gangster, but you said, nigga, this shit deeper than New York, nigga. I don't know what you talking about. Like, comment, subscribe, though, man. I might gotta get into that MS-13 next one. Yeah, the MS-13 coming next. MS-13 niggas in Long Island, them niggas is gangster. They got indicted. Them niggas is putting in major pain. Like, comment, subscribe, though. Y'all like Swamp Story? Y'all fuck with it? Let me know, man. We gonna watch these shits together.
Keep it hot, but don't make a mess. You already know police signing they checks. Young squeeze man, toting the Rex. You wanna see a face up in the press?